feel like this is going to apply to a few people only, but I feel like it needs to be said, okay? I see you almost feeling as if you're cornered into doing something, and I feel like it might be in the work environment. You feel as if someone has basically put you in a tough situation, or you are somewhat like cornered into doing something or pigeonholed into doing something against your will. A lot of you are fearful about speaking out because I don't know why there seems to be this scary energy around you associated with another person. You feel as if right behind you might be walls and there's an opening where you can escape. But in what's standing really in your way is, I feel like somebody who might be a little bit of a bully, somebody who might be combative or just difficult to deal with. I feel that their bark is worse than their bite, and I feel like they're purposely projecting this air, almost as if they're confrontational. But I don't feel that's gonna get you. That's like what they're really about. So I feel like once again the bark is greater than the bite. So I feel that it is in your best interest to really stand up for yourself and really confront the situation and face it head on, because I do sense you're going to make really good progress as a result of it, okay? And to get yourself out of this difficult situation. I feel for a lot of you, it might be work arrangement, it might be financial entanglements with another person as well. What I'm also feeling is sometime towards the end of this month, if that first message resonates with you guys, for that same group, sometimes towards the middle of this month, I feel that the other person that proves to be, scary, they're turning your back and I see you slipping away. Okay, so however that applies to you, I feel like they're busy doing something else, and I feel that you're able to like get yourself out of it, extract yourself very cleanly out of that situation without having to confront them. I do sense that the confrontation is not even going to be that bad. So if that's what you need to do to get yourself away from the present predicament even sooner, it's going to be very beneficial for you. So that's what I would suggest. Just I don't want to say suck it up, because it's going to apply to different people in different circumstances. And a lot of you are feeling this sense of external threat. But I do sense that, there's still going to be some type of I guess like a lessening of that pressure where you're going to be able to make your clean break. And for those of you who are looking for a way to break out of this earlier, if this has been an ongoing issue for a lot of you and you feel like the other person scares you, then I definitely sense that it's best to wait, okay? But the situation is not as bad as it seems. So just keep that in mind and try to put things into perspective. And just know that sometimes we need to stand up for ourselves, okay? So I do sense that's something coming through. A lot of you could be in a troublesome situation in terms of like entanglements with the wrong people, and you're starting to see them for who they are, for what they are, and you might not be having common purposes with that group association anymore, and you're going to make your clean break and you're going to be fine. I feel either way, I feel that a lot of you are in situations where somebody is keeping you isolated, okay? You feel like isolated from friends, family members, whether it be, just by geographical distance, which is not anybody else's doing but your own, or a sense where someone is blocking your ability to communicate, to interact with family members. So I do sense a little bit of isolation, a little bit of loneliness coming through from your end. You're craving social contacts, okay? You're craving interaction. So I feel like, wanting that sense of emotional connection with another person and feeling almost as if you're not able to achieve that where you currently are, okay? So I do sense some news communication coming through. I feel it coming through strongly from female relatives, and this can be like sisters, cousins, or something like that. Even mothers, maternal influences, but I feel them coming from women that are more so women that are your age. So I definitely feel like the social contacts will start to open up for you as well, where others are reaching out and vice versa. You are also reaching out, or you're contemplating some type of a major move in your life. And I do feel whatever move you need to make in order to get out of some situation where you don't feel comfortable, where you feel like you are working under the mandates of somebody else, or where you feel isolated. If those three things resonate, you definitely need to make some changes and steer your life in the right direction. And I feel that there are ample people and opportunities out there that can give you that emotional support, that social contact, that social connection that you're striving for, okay? So let's go into your reading. So first of all, we have the Princess of Wands and the Strength card. This is greatly about standing up for ourselves, taking initiative, as well as standing for up for what we believe in, taking charge of our own life. Okay, it's a page energy, so it's still very young. It's still going through the whole maturation process. I'm going to read this energy as you, where you are reclaiming your power, where you're thinking about, what direction do I want my life to go, and how am I going to logically get there. I do feel that for a lot of you, you've been through some hardships in the past where you might feel like a little bit cast out or like, abandoned, where you feel, and I want you to understand that externally, the support is there. You need to find the right people to ally yourself with, and at least the right people who have been consistently reaching out to you, okay? So reaching out to someone where there's no contact, there's no reciprocity, obviously that's going to lead you down a dead end. So in this instance, I feel that you're taking stock of your friendships, your group associations, the connections that have been stable and consistent over the years, and you're going to reach out to those contacts. So either way, I feel that a lot of you are in a situation where your power might have been suppressed, where you felt like you weren't in control of the direction of your life. And this is the month in which you are gaining back control, in which you're reclaiming your power, and you're putting yourself in a position where you can stand up for yourself, regardless of what other people are doing. So this is like emerging from that darkness, emerging from the shadows of somebody else and reclaiming your power. Once again, it's linked up here with the Strength card, and the Strength is all about inner strength, diligence. It's also a card about craftiness as well, because as you can see, this is a woman taming a lion. And in terms of physical strength, the lion's got, the upper hand, but she knows how to maneuver it. She knows how to persuade it, and she knows how to work with the energy, that very feminine energy, in order to steer a situation that could potentially be dangerous or volatile in her own way, okay, in the way that is going to give her a favorable outcome. This card does not deal with manipulation, and it doesn't deal with deception or anything like that. So I want you to really understand the difference between the two. Steering a situation in our favor is not about, hiding the truth. It's not about not being confrontational. She is confrontational in this regards, but she's doing it in a way that is very smart, that's conducive for, mutual growth between both parties. So I definitely feel this is the month in which, if you have been procrastinating on a situation or getting yourself out of a situation where you feel very unappreciated, where you felt very isolated, where you felt like you were under, the command of somebody else, I definitely sense it is a good time for you to break away. And I feel like a lot of you have realized that you needed to break away for quite some time. The opportunity was never there, or you might have delayed on this situation, mainly because you felt that, the timing has to be just right because you're scared. I definitely feel a lot of fears, anxieties, and things like that. About confrontation. I feel some fears, anxieties as well about forging ahead, getting a clean break, starting over, and being on your own. And starting over is never an easy process, but I definitely feel that this is the month in which you are reclaiming your power, and you're going to come to a sense where you start to realize that how powerful you are, how persuasive you are, how easy this situation is actually to overcome once you decide in your mind what you want to do, what you want your life to look like. And at the same time, it's about working smart. It's about harnessing the energy. It's about understanding the dire situation at hand and how it's really holding you back, so that you can basically get your hands dirty, get in there and fix a situation that was not working for you, okay? So I definitely feel this burst of energy where you're going to reclaim your power. You're going to feel very empowered as a result of it as well. So this is a really very strongly, and this was the initial message I was also getting too, like fear of confrontation, okay? A lot of you might be dealing with a fire sign, and this is a Aries, Sagittarius, or a Leo. It's somebody who actually, they have good intentions, I feel. So if you're dealing with this situation, possibly in a work environment, I feel like what it's saying here is to be very, very patient. This person seems to me like a very young energy, or at least the energy that they are exuding for this month is someone who's a little bit combative. They might be very sharp with their words. They might like say things and they might hurt your feelings, honestly, but without meaning to. Okay, they're a little bit blunt and they're a little bit like I would say insensitive, but not in a way where they're meant to hurt you. I do feel that their words can cut and they shoot off the hips, but they don't really mean, you know, they don't really mean to hurt, to harm anybody's feelings. So I definitely feel that this is a situation, if you're dealing with a coworker, for example, who is like this, who's a little bit abrasive, you can pull this person to the side and, you know, just tell them, hey, you know, that really hurt my feelings, or something like that. Something like in order to let them know where you're coming from, because I feel like it might have been a misunderstanding and it might have been a difference in sensitivity level. So if you can pull them aside, I do feel this situation is going to get resolved in your favor. So don't be afraid to have those awkward conversations, okay? No one likes those conversations, but they need to be had because we don't always see eye to eye with another person, especially in terms of like how we both communicate. So it is in your best interest, if something like this is happening to you, and it's happening a lot, especially, then you need to get to the bottom of it by pulling the other person aside and just having a one-on-one with them, okay? What I'm also feeling here with the Ten of Swords is there is a situation here that is very, very untenable. A lot of you, I feel like you're dealing with some difficult authority figure. This is a person in a work environment or within your home environment. So if this is somebody that you feel has great power, great control over you, and you feel like you can't get out from under their shadows, this is the month for you to look at this situation in its true light and to fix this aspect of yourself, okay? And what I mean is taking charge, okay? So I feel like small battles are happening, possibly with a fire sign. A bigger battle is happening here with an authority figure. In the process of confronting situations as they come up with, you know, other people in your life that are not as significant, you're going to regain your strength, you're going to regain your power, and then you're going to be able to tackle one of the bigger people, the more important people in your life where you feel like you can't get out from under their shadows. The other aspect that I'm reading with this two combination here is that there's some inherent warning here, okay? And the Emperor usually serves as like a spirit guide, somebody that is has passed on, has passed over. And they're basically telling you to re-examine a situation in your life where you have given somebody multiple opportunities, multiple tries, and multiple chances as well, and you end up constantly feeling very, very emotionally drained, physically like just exhausted, exasperated, and you feel like you cannot be in this situation anymore. If there is some aspect in your life that is showing up like this, I do feel that your guides are pushing you away from this situation. They're giving you a way out. They're providing I guess like a route, an escape plan for you to do this. They also want to remind you as well, honestly, Pisces, the worst of it is over. It can't get any worse than this, but they're telling you the worst of it is over. There's no need for you to stay in it. So they're pointing in a different direction so that rather than being stuck in this situation, stuck in the past, you're able to move on. So when I say that the worst of it is over, it's saying like, what's the worst that can happen at this point? You've already suffered so much. So if that's the case, if that sounds even familiar, it is really important for you to find a way to extract yourself. And I feel like small victories have been happening, fixing your relationships, dealing with people that you feel might have been insensitive. So small victories are basically the stepping stones for you in order to achieve this big victory, in order for you to cleanly extract yourself from a circumstance that was very painful for you. And I do sense that they're urging you. This has been going on long enough. You are going to have to move from this situation, okay? I sense for a lot of you, this is something that might have surfaced in the time of Aries. So this is like coming right after your birthday time. So that in that time frame, and as a result of it, you're kind of like still a little bit traumatized. You're still trying to process it, and you're still trying to figure out, I feel almost as if you're still making forgive me for saying, you're still making excuses for the other person. You're still making excuses as to why you should stay. And there's a lot of fears, anxiety. Yes, I understand. It is fearful to start over. But I do sense, once again, the 10 of Swords is a painful situation. And the 10 indicate the end of a cycle as well. So you are going to have, I don't feel that it's going to be in your best interest to stay in this situation. Your guides are guiding you out, and you're going to be on your way out, okay? So keep an eye out for that lucky break, that small window of opportunity that comes in that will allow you to somehow extract yourself cleanly, okay? So let me just say this. If you have been, especially, this is going to apply to a small minority. If you are in a situation where you're dealing with especially verbal abuse, physical abuse, mental, emotional abuse, if you're in a situation where someone is treating you less than what you feel you deserve, and especially constantly putting you down and not giving you that encouragement that you need, Pisces, you are going to have to look at this situation for what it is. You need to reclaim your power. And I know that's easier said than done, but I feel like all these minor victories with coworkers, with acquaintances, is allowing you to grow in strength, foster or harness your own inner strength so that you can achieve this big victory for yourself, okay? Now, I do sense here, we do have the Prince of Pentacles, which is the Knight of Pentacles, and the Seven of Wands. First of all, let's talk about this. There is an earth sign that you are dealing with, a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. This person is somebody who is very, very reliable in your midst, okay? And I feel like more it's a friend, it's a colleague, it's an acquaintance, possibly even a brother. A brother for some of you, or even like some family member. This is someone that has been around, I feel, for quite some time. And they have proven themselves to be very trustworthy, to be there when you need them. They have offered their services, their help for quite some time. And I don't know why, but I feel almost like they're making themselves available to you for material, for financial help. They might not be the emotional person. They might not be the emotional type, but they have been around for quite some time. And no matter what, if you're ever in a jam, you can always, always come to them. I feel them extending a hand, like for friendship, for help, to get you to know that they're there for you and to, utilize their services. That's what I'm feeling. And I feel like for a lot of you, there might be some sense of pride, some sense of, I want to do this on my own, or feeling very much alone in your struggle. Feeling very much like isolated from everybody else. And when it comes to isolation, a lot of the isolation could be external, where, you're separated from your family for a job, for example. You're separated from your family through somebody else's actions, which is, getting yourself in an unhealthy relationship, and then the other person separates you, isolates you from your support network because they want to manipulate you. They want you to stay with them. They want you to live in a constant state of fear. The other type of isolation is internal, where we feel like, oh, everyone is against us. There's no one that really understands our struggle. So I'm going to say this, Pisces, I feel you have plenty of support around you. And I feel that a lot of you are actually dealing with the external type of isolation where someone is imposing the isolation upon you. And then there's a small minority of you where someone is reaching out to help you, especially in Earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. I feel like this is somebody who has been around for quite some time. They are not emotionally in tune with you, but they are always there whenever you need them. Whenever you need something, they're there. But I feel like you're being a little bit stubborn, and you might say like, I want to do this on my own. I want to just see how powerful I am. There's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like this is a losing battle here because, it's a card about valor. It's a card about strength. It's a card about, um, independence as well. But in this situation, it seems a little bit like a losing battle. Okay, so I just want you to be careful about this energy. It's one person against seven. And, 7 is a very, very karmic number. So a lot of you feel like this is my battle. I need to clean it up. I need to I don't need anybody in order to do this. I can do this on my own, and I can climb to the top of that mountain without anybody's help. If that sounds familiar, I just want you to realize, or at least understand, what is it that you're trying to achieve? Is it stubbornness where you feel like I can do this on my own, or is it just wanting to test your limit? Okay, and even if you were to test your limit, that's perfectly fine. If you want to recreationally test your limit, but I feel like there might be something a little bit more dire than that, more important than that, and you're going to need some type of assistance. Okay, so there is somebody in your midst making themselves available to you, but I feel like you feel almost like they don't understand you. And they probably don't because, they're an earth sign. But my advice here for this month is that you're going to need other people. And there's strength in number, right? I also feel that it's the month for you to stop playing the martyr. If this is something that you feel you keep getting yourselves into over and over again, because I feel like this is very karmic, this is very cyclical, and a lot of you are kind of like, no, I would rather, take the burden and spare somebody else the expense. We're not supposed to interfere with other people's karmic lessons. We're also not supposed to, play the martyr and mistakenly, I feel for a lot of Pisces, this might be a tendency, mistakenly play the role of the martyr, in which you sacrifice pieces and bits of yourself in order to for a greater purpose, and you feel almost as if I'm very much alone in this battle. I feel like this is my life's calling. Your life's calling is to live a life of fulfillment, to live a life where you basically grow to your full potential. So I want you to really think about what you're trying to do here, and really think about, is it fame, accolades, recognition that you're hoping for? Is it stubbornness, or is it just, wanting to test your strength? So depending on how you answer that question, then you're going to realize what you need to do, obviously. If it's just, stubbornness, if it's just pure martyrdom, because you feel like that's your life's calling, I would like you to re-examine this situation, because I feel like it keeps happening over and over and over again. And it's not going to go away unless we change our paradigm, okay, our perspective, and how we perceive ourselves, our relations to other people, and how we handle conflict when they come through, okay? So keep that in mind. What's coming through in terms of communication here is that there's definitely some type of an assistance, some type of a helper that is being thrown in your midst that's going to help you get out of a very tenuous, potentially dangerous situation, okay? You have somebody coming in and they're rushing in. We have here the Prince of Swords, which is the Knight of Swords, the fastest moving knight in the deck. They see you on your pedestal struggling, and they're charging in order to help you. I don't feel they're there to harm you. So this is an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, a Libra. Even though, knights are very action oriented, and they're very they're pretty much prepared for battle. What I am getting with this knight is more of an energy where they can strategically help you without to minimize the bloodbath, to minimize the conflict. They can de-escalate a situation because they're very persuasive, they're very smart, and they have a strategy. They don't come rushing in without a game plan. What I'm also feeling is this person is very, very courageous. Okay, so let me talk about this first. This is somebody who fights smart, who fights smart. They're, they have their armor on. They're kind of like perched in a high position on this horse. It gives them a better vantage point. It gives them an advantage in battle. This is potentially you or another person, and not fighting too smart, where you're perched on top of something, you're defenseless, you have no armor on, and you're fighting 7 people. So there's a difference here. This is someone who is, the strategist, the battle strategist. They're going to win battles, and I feel like someone is giving you some expertise, some information that's really going to help your case. And I feel that taking this person's advice is going to be very beneficial for you. It might be an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, or it might be somebody who has been through it before. They're armed and ready to battle, okay? They're coming to your rescue, I would say. I don't like to use the word rescue. I don't like to use the word martyr, especially for a Pisces reading. But I feel like it's being brought up so strongly in the imagery in the cards. So I'm going to say that everyone needs to fight their own battles. But in this situation, I feel that you need help. And someone is coming to your rescue. So take their advice. Allow their services to help you out of some sticky, tenuous situation, okay? What is linked up with here is the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is both of these combinations, actually, someone coming in, swooping in, and moving you away from a very, very troublesome situation. I do feel divine intervention is coming in very, very strongly for this month. I do sense that coming in. I do feel that these helpers that are in your midst, in your environment, are divinely guided to come and help you, even though you didn't ask for it. I feel like you might be too proud to ask for help. You might feel like I need to handle this on my own because that's my destiny. But I feel that you're going to have to reach out to other people for this month, Pisces. So especially for women, Piscean women with children that are going through this situation, I do want you to know that you need to get yourself out. And I also want you to know that you are a lot stronger than you give yourself credit for. Okay? However, there are plenty of people around you that are actually very concerned about you. They might not show it in the way that you normally show how you feel and how, your concerns, your worries. You're dealing with different elements. That's the bottom line. You're dealing with air signs and earth signs, and they're not emotionally expressive people, but they're very reliable, and they're actually there. When you need them, all you have to do is, make that phone call, reach out in some way, send that email. And I do sense it's going to be very, very beneficial for you. A lot of you might be dealing with an air sign who has been kind of like, you don't really know where you stand with them. You don't really know how they feel about you. This is the month in which your worries, your anxieties are going to be appeased, okay? They're going to be silenced, mainly because they're going to come into the picture and they're going to help you through a rough patch, or they are going to provide some type of insight, some type of information that's going to alleviate a lot of your concerns, a lot of your worries, okay? I feel like it might be in the love front, but I'm going to look into your love situation in a little bit, okay? So that message is coming in quite strongly. If you find yourself in a situation, please don't play the martyr. Fight smart. If you want to test yourself, and you must do it on your own, at least know what you're getting yourself into, okay? Because I feel like this is a losing situation, so just be careful about that, okay? Just be careful. In terms of your advice, Pisces, we have some very, very beautiful cards. So first of all, we have the Ace of Pentacles. This is a situation where it could be a new relationship as well. It could be a new job. Usually I read this as a new employment opportunity, a new situation that is going to be very financially lucrative. The opportunity is there. What you make of it is completely up to you. And I definitely feel a lot of you might be moving away for a new job, might have been looking for a job for quite some time, and a new job is going to be on the offing for you. A lot of you might have like had fierce competitors for this job, for this contract, to win over this specific, assignment, this very lucrative work assignment, or to get some type of funding, financing from some major institution, and you did a lot of preliminary or even background work, prep work, in order to get yourself to the point where, the money situation is going to start flowing again, the new job is going to come through, and even work partnerships are coming through. That's going to make you feel very, very happy, very wanted, needed, and appreciated, okay? So if you're still battling, I definitely feel the advice here is, whatever you're doing, you're going to get some help, and you're going to get this really nice offer, and I would say even gift at the end of it, okay? What's coming through in terms of your emotional state here? This is your card. The moon is representative of that Piscean energy. This is like listening to your intuition, knowing certain universal truths about people and about the world. And I want you to understand this strong message that's coming through. I feel that you were put in a situation where the same thing happened over and over and over and over again. Everything seemed to me to be very cyclical. It happened over and over and over again. And it's basically telling you to kind of reassess that situation and understand, get to the root of why it's happening over and over and over again. Because I feel like it is within your control to change this, okay? Once you shift your framework away from, I'm staying here because somebody needs me, rather than doing that, reclaim your power and think about, what am I doing here? How is it contributing to value in my life? How is it subtracting value from my life? What am I really doing here? A lot of you might feel like there's this sense of fatedness where you are doomed for a certain course of action, where you feel a little bit trapped or pigeonholed into doing something that you don't want to do. And as humans, we have free will. Even karma, things that happen over and over and over again, can be broken with a different perspective. Looking at a situation from all angles, knowing how it can be beneficial or detrimental to you, knowing how it's affecting all the people around you. I do feel that looking at the big picture is going to be a little bit more meaningful in order to allow you to come to a paradigm shift for this month, okay? What I'm also sensing as well is, we do have the Lovers card, which indicates major, major turning points in either a significant partnership in love or in work, in business partnerships as well. You have some major, major crossroads that you're encountering for this month. And I really want you to be very clear about your objective, because obviously this is going to go two ways. If you feel like you're doing it for the right reasons, and you feel like, I need to do this on my own because my soul needs to grow, that's a perfectly valid reason. If you're doing this because you're just like, I'm doomed for this fate, I want you to re-examine your free will. And sometimes we push for a specific outcome and we don't heed the warning signs. For example, our intuition is steering us away in a different direction, but we are so emotionally invested in it, we keep pushing for it. And when it's not something that is meant for your higher good, whether it be a relationship, dealing with a stubborn person, dealing with someone who won't cooperate with us, you can't interfere with somebody else's free will. So it's really important for you to understand that and to steer yourself in a different direction altogether. I see some course correction that's going to need to happen. This situation is happening again once again, everything is very cyclical and it's happening again. So if you find yourself stuck in this situation, I feel that you're headed the wrong way, and other people are coming in trying to help you to get out of this. But I feel like you feel very much alone in your struggles. You feel very much like there's no one else here that can understand me. So just be careful about, playing that martyr, because you are a lot stronger than you think. You don't need to prove anything to anybody. So taking on this assignment or doing this thing because you feel like I need to prove it to other people that I know what I'm doing or that I'm very, very strong, there's no need to do that, especially if it's going to bring any type of harm to yourself, okay, Pisces? So be very careful with the energy for this month, all right? I'm going to go into your love reading, and I hope that energy is not playing out in the love front, but I also want to say that I'm using a different deck. So I used the Joie de Vivre deck for the other signs, but I'm traveling right now, and I totally forgot to bring that deck. I left it at home. So I'm going to have to use this, and I'm not going to read reversals, okay? So just to give you a better idea into the love situations. Let's see what's going on for you. So I'm pulling out cards to give me more information, and I'm going to go over them one by one. So just let me lay out the cards first. Okay. So let me just say that for a lot of you, I pulled out cards and the Queen and the King of Wands both show up. So this indicates to me a couple. And it seems to me like a very, very solid couple that have either grown, been together for quite some time, like possibly a marriage situation. And it's not that you're no longer in love with one another. I definitely feel that you're growing apart and your paths are starting to diverge. You're no longer seeing things from the same perspective, and you no longer want the same things out of life. So I definitely feel some reassessment based on a major significant relationship in your life right now, especially for those of you who are coupled up, okay? What I'm also feeling is, especially for Pisces who are dating women, I feel like there might be another, like a temptation or something like that coming in the mix. And I feel like it's creating, I feel like some type of, almost feeling like a betrayal, okay? Where somebody is potentially flirting with somebody else and you're getting information on this. This could deal with online communication. They might be chatting with other people. They might sign up for accounts to dating websites and things like that. And it's bringing a lot of discord within the relationship. It's like an ongoing problem, though. I don't feel like this is news to you. I don't feel like anything coming to light. I feel like this is something that is has been hovering over your head. Either you're dealing with this, either you're the one that is stepping out and, potentially just you think that you feel almost as if it is it's innocent fun, like having an emotional connection elsewhere. As long as it doesn't get physical, then you feel like it's innocent fun. But I feel like that's still cheating. That's still like emotionally checking out of a relationship, not investing in the relationship. So you could be the one doing this, or your partner. You might catch them in the act of doing this. And I feel like, once again, this is not something new that is being revealed this month. I feel like this is an ongoing issue. And as a result of it, there might be like separation. There might be threats about, someone leaving the relationship. And there might be pain and heartache and feeling very, very abandoned and very unwanted and unloved as a result of it as well. But what I'm sensing is you are going to overcome this situation. There is healing here that is going to take place. So if this is something that has happened in the past, because in the past we have the death card, which is you making major transformations from this situation and moving forward. So I feel like for those of you who have children, especially who have been married or even cohabiting with somebody that you really care for, that you feel was like the right one for you. If you have recently separated from someone, you're still feeling the pains of a little bit of that heartache, regret, sadness as well. But I feel that you are going to overcome that situation, and you're going to start, I would say like dating is a little bit too soon right now, but I feel that you are flirting with the idea that potentially you need to put yourself out there back on the dating market, okay? You're still thinking about that person heavily, and I feel like even if they apologize to you, you might take them back. But at this point, I don't see communication coming through. I feel like if you were with someone like that and who did that to you, or at least, extracted yourself from a situation where you were dating someone for a significant amount of time, I feel like you might confront them. They might be on the defense. They might not say they're sorry. They might not even say that they did anything wrong, because, it's kind of like deny, deny, deny. And they're on the defense as well. So this is a very difficult energy to deal with. A lot of you might have transitioned from a fire sign, so Sagittarius, a Leo, and Aries, and you're moving on to being single and dating again, and you're still, you're still carrying that emotional, I guess, baggage with you as well, and it's going to take some time to heal. I feel that you might be out there looking for a distraction by talking to or dating other people. And I would advise you, don't jump from one relationship to the next. Take some time to heal in between. So just out of courtesy for the next relationship partner, just out of courtesy for, to mourn that other relationship, no matter how it ended. It could have ended on very amicable terms or just, in total disaster. Out of respect for what you once shared, it is really important to mourn that past relationship. You might have children with that person as well, and you just want to start something new. And I don't feel emotionally you're there just yet, okay? So if you have taken adequate time to mourn, I do feel that you're going to have very good options coming through, because what's crowning you here is the the Eight of Wands, which indicates, a lot of communication and a lot of options to choose from. I do feel first of all, let me talk about this card. I'm jumping ahead. So the Eight of Wands deals with the arrows of love. This is like text messages. This is communication, emails, phone calls. All of the modern ways in which we communicate with another person. We're being inundated left and right with options. Okay, so it's a lot of communication coming through. What is linked up here, up with, is the Wish card. And the Wish card, once again, it indicates, getting that person that we want, feeling that attraction to another person, going on dates, and having a really good time with whoever it is that you have been heavily communicating with. I do feel as well, there's this element here with the Three of Pentacles. This person wants to build a foundation with you. And a lot of you are kind of traumatized from the past, and you are hesitant about jumping into this new venture, but I definitely feel they are solid. They are trying to build a stable foundation with you. A lot of you might be dealing with, let me see, possibly an earth sign, a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn, a new person that wants to build something stable with you, okay? Or at least you are thinking about this person heavily. There's heavy communication. You're feeling really good. I feel like this is the card about, having a very enjoyable date with somebody, and you wouldn't mind seeing them again and again and again. So this is a really good card that denotes harmony and the potential of a new love relationship, all right? So I feel heavy communication. Excuse me, sorry. So the communication card is this one. Heavy communication, possibly with an earth sign who wants to build something of value with you, and going on on really good dates. The foundation here is the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups, earlier it did show up in the reverse position, and I was just thinking, like, why would it show up reversed? And I feel that for a small minority of you, okay, so this is, let's just say for a small minority of you, if you are wedging yourself in between somebody who is married, because we do have, once again, the couple here, okay? If you're wedging yourself in between people who are married, if you yourself are entangled with one person, like you're separated but you're not divorced, the other person might be separated but they're not divorced, and they're telling you they're going to get divorced, tread very, very carefully. Because what I feel here is this is a sneaking around card. This is like doing something and potentially getting caught with it as well, okay? Following somebody, sneaking away with somebody, because both of these things indicate to me someone is like putting up that temptation. Here I am, come and get it, and the other person is like blindly following, or at least they know they're not supposed to, but everything is happening in broad daylight, which leads me to believe a lot of you feel like this is innocent, harmless fun, but I feel like it might, resurface itself, or it might actually hurt somebody in the process. So just be very careful about the energies coming through for this month. I do feel that it is good for those of you who have recently started dating or are still in the process of dating, finding yourself, finding out who you like, and not really committing to anybody just yet. I do sense that the energy is very supportive for those of you who have taken the time to mourn, are trying to restart your love life, and you have multiple options, multiple dates, and you still haven't really, formed an opinion about any specific person. I feel like that's the energy supported for that. For those of you in coupled relationships, I definitely feel a lot of communication, a lot of dates going out and things like that, where you are going to be able to establish, reconnect with one another in a very beautiful way. Because like I said, we do have the couple here. A lot of you are dealing with earth signs, I feel, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And that is somebody that's there offering you something. And a lot of you are dealing with a fire sign, and the fire sign might be somebody from the past. So Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo. Once again, I do feel an element of separation. One person might, geographically, you might be far apart. Or I feel like you might want to separate from one sign and date another. So I definitely feel it is a very, very beautiful month to reconnect, and especially to branch out and form other connections. It's a very other-oriented month. So utilize your social network, utilize your professional contacts as well in order for you to attract a lot of new people that are coming into the picture for you, especially in the dating front, okay? At the center of the spread, I do have, the fire sign. I pulled out a clarifier, and I have the Queen of Pentacles. So let me just say, especially for those of you Piscean people that are dating men, I do sense some type of a legal issue, possibly like a mate or some type of lingering attachment that's still happening with this fire sign male that you might not be aware of, okay? It's coming to light. And I do feel that they might say that, they're leaving and things like that, but it's going to take a little bit longer, okay, than they initially hoped for, or they would have you believe, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, I do hope that the reading has been helpful for you guys. First of all, I want to apologize for the delay in getting the video out on time, especially for you and for Cancers. Usually when I shuffle the cards at the beginning, I get messages, and I was overwhelmed by messages that was coming through, and it took me like 3 or 4 tries to do the recording. And I usually do, I usually start with like Aquarius or Capricorn, Aquarius, Capricorn, Pisces, but I couldn't get the video started, so I moved on to the other signs, which really helps me narrow down the reading for your sign, especially for this month. I feel that the energy is a little bit volatile. We are transitioning into the sign of Leo, which is a fire sign, and it's the energy is a little bit in opposition to yours. So I apologize for the reading. I tried to do it multiple times, and it just wouldn't record correctly, and the messages were they were a broad spectrum of messages, and I couldn't find a common narrative, like a common thread, okay? So I apologize for the delay, Pisces, and I know that a lot of you have been asking for the video, and I apologize. So just so you know. And if you like a private reading as well, contact me at temperatestar@gmail.com, or you can visit my website where you can book an appointment for yourself. Everything is automated. My availability is also available on the website. If you'd like to make a donation as well, I do have a new donation link. So if the reading has been helpful for you and you would like to contribute, I would appreciate that as well. And for those of you who are dealing with that situation that I mentioned at the beginning of the month, I do hope that you find a way out and that the energy alleviates.